Hey guys, welcome back to The Binger. The wait is almost over. Next month, the world will be lining up at cinemas as our favorite superheroes return to the big screen. It may have only been a year since Avengers 3 came out, but it feels like we've been waiting for an eternity to see the next installment. Fans have been talking about what Endgame could have in store for us since the moment Avengers 3 ended, so it's not surprising that anticipation is at an all-time high. Now that we've got the last trailer, a lot of theories seem to make perfect sense. Join us as we take a look at what could really happen in Avengers Endgame. This one is basically a dead cert. You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to see this one coming. In the two trailers, Natasha, aka Black Widow, is featured quite heavily, alongside the Cap. As two of the remaining Avengers of the Snap, it's up to them to fix things and try to save their friends. In some parts, Natasha is wearing her hair in a short blonde bob the same way it was when Thanos decimated half the population. In other parts, however, her hair is longer, her roots are dark red, her natural hair color, while her tips are still blonde. Fans have taken this as major confirmation that the movie will largely happen a few years into the future. After all, with half of her friends now dust, Natasha probably hasn't felt like going to the salon, which might explain her grown-out locks and bad dye job. You can't blame a girl for letting it slip given the situation, can you? What's more, it just makes sense for Marvel to do this. We want to see how the world is coping now that it's a lot lighter, and the kind of effect that Thanos' destruction created long-term. Watching them sweep up the dust of Scarlet Witch and Spider-Man for an hour and a half wouldn't be as exciting, would it? There are a couple other theories related to time travel that we'll touch upon later, so stick around, you might just learn something. We certainly did, and that's nothing short of a miracle. At the end of the last movie, Tony Stark was left bruised and battered after going up against Big T and getting the Big L. More than just his physical ailments, Stark is brokenhearted as he watches his comrades in arms turn to ash right in front of him, unable to stop anything. Lest we forget the utterly devastating moment where young Spidey grips onto him and begs him for help as he feels himself crumble to ash. There wasn't a dry eye in the house. We aren't ashamed either. Anyone who says it didn't get them where it hurts isn't telling the truth. While the trailer does its best to have us weeping at Stark's touching final message to Pepper, we later catch a glimpse of him suited and booted in the upgraded Avengers suits along with Gamora's sister Nebula. That gives life to the theory that someone eventually got around to saving the down-and-out superhero, bringing him back to Earth safely so that he could rejoin the others and kick some serious butt. Some believe that Rocket and Pepper saved the day somehow, while others say it's all down to the latest Avenger, Captain Marvel. What do you think? We're about to get a little complicated, so buckle up, Buttercup. We know that the Marvel Universe is made up of all sorts of different worlds and dimensions, right? Back in Ant-Man and the Wasp, Scott gets sucked into the quantum realm. The teeny tiny superhero gets caught there at the end of the movie, and Janet tells him to avoid any time vortexes he may see, but she never explains why. Curious. Could that have just been a huge red herring that we all missed? In the trailer for Endgame, Scott turns up at the door of Cap and Natasha, seemingly confused about what's going on. Cap asks Natasha if it's an old clip, which seems to indicate he hasn't heard from Scott in a long time and just assumed he'd been decimated with the other 50% of all life. Toward the end of the clip, we see the remainder of the gang wearing new white and red suits, which some fans think are specially designed to protect them when traveling through the quantum realm. Why would they want to go through the quantum realm? It's a mystery, wrapped in an enigma, wrapped in a conundrum, or it's easily explained with the following theory. If Ant-Man somehow managed to manipulate time and space, then they might be able to go back in time and save their friends, right? Boom! That's the case blown wide open. You don't even need to go to the theater now. We already know what happens. It's that simple. Plus, to back this up, Michael Douglas, who plays Hank Pym in the Ant-Man movies, has said that he believes the quantum realm plays an important role in the upcoming chapters of the Marvel movies. This is a hint bigger than Thor's hammer if we've ever seen one. If anyone knows what's going down, it'll be one of the actors. If it's true, then Douglas most likely got a little telling off for sharing that info. So let's go a little deeper into this time theory here. There are a few ways that this could go. What's left of the Avengers could use the quantum realm to go back to the moment that Thanos was about to snap his fingers and do something like, say, chop his arm off, but that would be a little too simple. One of the main theories out there is that the gang goes even further and instead tries to collect all the Infinity Stones before Thanos can get his giant purple hands on them. That would be tricky. According to one Reddit user, they would run the risk of having a knock-on effect, changing future events for the worst by causing a domino effect. But what if Tony and Bruce realize they need to invent something that will successfully bring everyone back without changing the future in irreversible ways? If they no longer have the equipment they need because it was destroyed in the previous battles, then they would still need to go back in time to retrieve that. no harm done. That would still explain the suits and Ant-Man's role in the movie when he's a minor player compared to the rest. This theory isn't totally reliant on the trailer, but it's worth mentioning anyway. For a while, rumors have abounded that cosmic entity Chronos will have a part to play in the latest MCU installment. While the cast and crew remained fairly tight-lipped on the subject, comic artist and writer Jim Starlin has confirmed that one of his characters will make an appearance on screen. Chronos is one of Starlin's characters. We haven't seen him on screen, but if you look super closely at the Endgame logo, it is purple and transparent, just like Chronos. This stands out even more in the trailer. Considering that every single thing is done with a purpose when it comes to this kind of stuff, it's not a giant leap for fans to reach this conclusion. So, who is Chronos and what role will he play? Well, he's an entity bigger than anything we've seen before in the franchise, and he's able to control time. Some fans speculate that he could be the one who helps the team manipulate it and save their friends. In the comics, Chronos is Thanos' grandfather and does appear in the Infinity Gauntlet series. It would make for some epic battle scenes while also providing a potential new villain. Captain Marvel is the new superhero on the block, having just featured in her very first solo film. Played by Brie Larson, fans are already going wild for the brave new hero. We know that she's involved somehow in Endgame thanks to her appearance in the actual trailer. Also in her own movie, set before the snap, Marvel tells Nick Fury to page her if there's ever an emergency. So why didn't Fury, knowing that Thanos was about to destroy tons of precious life forms, shoot off a message to his new buddy then? Why has she only turned up just now? The reasons are unclear, but some fans speculate that it's all part of a bigger plan that we're just not privy to yet. Other fans believe that Captain Marvel was actually there when the snap happened, but instead of turning into dust, she was transported to the 90s with no memory of it, which is where her movie was set. It's a complicated theory to follow, but we know one thing is for sure. As a new character, writers are going to want to give her an important part to play. She's in the movie, so we know she's going to have a pivotal role in what comes next. Marvel being transported rather than biting the big one could also back up our next theory. As well as giving us some clues as to what happens next for our favorite world savers, the trailer looked back at some past events. We revisited the decimation of a few key characters. It could be just to remind fans of what's going on in Infinity War like we could forget, but it could also have a deeper purpose. With so many different dimensions going on, it's totally likely that those caught up in Thanos' snap didn't disappear at all, but were instead transferred to a different reality. Toward the end of Infinity War, Gamora appears in child form to her dad Thanos, asking him about the cost of his actions. For a moment, it's like he's been shifted to wherever she is now. Not that he does any good in the long run, because Thanos still looks like he's not bothered that he pushed his own daughter off a cliff so he could restore the balance. This guy needs some serious therapy. But anyway, Thanos may have created a split universe according to some thinkers, even without realizing that he was doing it. If you follow that line of thought, then it's all about restoring the natural order of things and retrieving the likes of Doctor Strange and Spider-Man from where they are now. It makes sense, considering that Ant-Man was alive somewhere else for the last few years without anyone else knowing it. It would also give writers a chance to feature the lost Avengers as they try to get back to their own reality. Remember how angry Nebula was when she discovered Thanos sacrificed Gamora so that he could have the Soul Stone? She could have made chop suey out of that chump, if she was slightly more powerful, that is. This is a woman scorned, and you know what they say, hell hath no fury like one. And we've seen her dressed up to the nines in the new Avengers gear, marching alongside her new buddies as well as charging into battle. Is it really too simple to think that Nebula might get her hands on Thanos again and get justice for her fallen sibling? The trailer seems to suggest that she plays a part bigger than anything we've seen her in before. Plus, we love a bit of poetic justice, so it's great to think that Thanos might meet his end at the hands of the daughter he didn't love as much. All of the torture she endured in Infinity War at the hands of Daddy Dearest isn't to be underestimated, and neither is she. Nebula is capable of more than we've seen, so keep your eyes on her. Nebula deserves the chance to shine in all her blue glory. We hope she gets it so she can put those skills to good use. What do you think? Will we watch the Avengers knock it out of the park and emerge victorious after their harrowing defeat last time? Is the quantum realm theory one that you totally agree with, or is there something else you'd like to tell us about? Most importantly, how pumped are you to see Endgame? Let us know in the comments down below. Be sure to give this video a big thumbs up so we know to keep making them, and hit that subscribe button before you go. You don't want to miss a thing. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.